Hello, my name is Louise. I am from Denmark. I'm a human being and a midwife and a healer, and intuitively I interpret the experience of birth giving just because I find it completely interesting. The fact that women relate to pain so differently, and how can we help women on this planet overcome that painful experience of birth giving during labor. That's interesting. And in these times of lack of economy in the healthcare system, especially in my country, I have the experience that very little money is put into the experience of pain that the women actually are experiencing. And very little money is put into looking at new ways of experiencing pain. So that's what I'll do here. Because somebody asked me some years ago, Louise, is it possible to go through labor without experiencing pain? And I have been operating with this for years. And my take today is that, of course, there is the physical bodily experience of pain. But what I want to come up with is that when we create something, when we put out an intention, we have an idea, it could be anything in our life. Like, if you stop in your life and you think, I want to have a new career, I wish to change my life, I want something new to happen, I want a baby to happen, something new you want to happen. Because it is so normal in the sense of the normality of birth giving on this planet, it's just a normal thing. We don't question or compare the actual fact and knowledge we have about whatever we want to create that is a big change in our life. And that is a baby as well. Or a new job, a new career, a new partner, a new whatever, a new home, moving country. Just it's something huge that's going to have a huge impact on your life. Then I'm saying and suggesting to just relate to the experience of wanting something big to change in your life, not being a baby. If you want to change your career, you naturally expect huge shifts in your life. You need to get maybe a new education. You will have problems with money. You could have, like, if you're not a millionaire, it could be a big thing to change your life like that. You need to have a new mindset about yourself. You shift your identity. Many things happen because when you change your life dramatically, also when you have a child, it's something that goes on within your mind, because we have to respect the fact that when something happens that is really life-changing, it changes the way we perceive our life and ourselves, and the way we need to change how we relate to things change as well. And admitting the truth within ourselves, that we know that the body is a reflection of our mind. If we stress up here, we get a heartbeat or jaw contractions, something. Of course, we will experience physical symptoms of changes when we make a big change in our life. That it is a career shift, you know that the reason why you change career is because you want to feel better, and the feel experience is within the body. So you must prepare yourself for changes. Of course, when we change from one career to another in the hope and dream that this is a positive shift, because we maybe were stressed before and we want something to be more positive, we expect a positive shift in our body. That is easy to relate to, but just imagine this. If on the way from the shift of one career to another that you perceive as only positive, if you find yourself in some situations during that shift that is provoking you to come into doubt whether the shift is good or bad, it's like labor pains. You need to focus on the reason, the motivation to change, because it is actually your mind asking you, your soul, your heart asking you on the way when you come into doubt whether this was good or bad, or when you're in labor, was it a good idea to get a baby because it really hurts? Then you if you relate to it this way that I suggest, you could have a much more beautiful experience. And what I suggest is to view that intense pain in labor as a question from your soul to you, and a way shower. It's a question: do you really want this baby? And if you within yourself hold on to, I want it, I want it, I want it, it's like a person running a marathon wanting to win. You have to want the baby. The more you love what you want, when you want to change your life, when you have the idea of becoming pregnant because you want a baby in your life, then focus on the positive that you want. And then you will experience less pain. Trust me on this one. Because it's not that the body is not sensing all the contractions, but it's how you relate to it. And you can actually help yourself up into like a state of experience during the pain of labor, during the transition phase between one job to the next. Or like my son is changing school at the moment. It's not a big deal, but still it's one change to the other. It was his own decision. But still, while you're in the new place, you can still think like, wow, if it's not only positive, then maybe I should not have changed. That's the pain of labor, because the real transition into the full release of the baby, of the new life, of the new job, of the new career, the new home, whatever you wanted to give birth to, having an idea about it and deciding to do something about it. It's a process like labor. And if you just think about how you have experienced other times in your life, changing phases from one thing to another, you would definitely be able to know how you relate to change. So when my friend asked me, is it possible to give birth to a baby without feeling pain, my take is following. If you relax completely and you have trained yourself to be in a very, very, very relaxed meditative state, so that you control your body's reaction to the nerve stimuli that is happening when the baby's head is pushing its way out. If you constantly know that you are able to answer the pain question that your body comes up with in a positive way when it asks, it really, really hurts, is that okay? The tissue is being squeezed, your nerves are asking. Your tissue is being squeezed like having your finger squeezed. Do I need to do something about it? If it's a finger, you definitely have to open the door. If you hold on burning wood, you definitely need to move your hand, because it's not good for your physical body. But when the labor pain comes, you have to answer that question. Yes, yes, it's good. It's what we want. And then you cooperate with your body. And then you can actually really make it a beautiful cooperation between your consciousness and your conscious decision about how you relate to physical things, to your bodily experiences. And that awareness of being in labor is actually an opportunity to learn about not being fearful of anything. Because you just ask yourself when something happens and you get a fear, physical pain, some anxiety, you ask yourself, okay, so what's the question? It's like a child inside is asking, Mom or Dad, Mom, do I need to be fearful about this? And you definitely have to answer with the truth, which is always, let me look at the situation. Let me analyze it. That's when the mind is good. Let me analyze it and let me see what is about it. Extracting the emotions out of it. And that's a task we need to learn as women on this planet, to be able to handle birth pains in a positive way that can actually assist us in creating an environment to our children afterwards that helps them to relate in a more aware way to their own fears, fear of pain, fear of change, fear of self-critic, and just always asking ourselves, as we teach our children in that way, to ask themselves, okay, I don't like this situation, I don't enjoy it, I don't enjoy labor pains personally, but I cope with them because I love the idea of getting that baby. So I really need to not care about the pain. And that is more helpful when the body is relaxed, because then you can really discern what is a nerve stimuli and what is helping to not get the stimuli so intense. And that is when the baby's head is pressing down through your birth canal. If you tense up, the pressure on the nerve is bigger and it hurts more, really physically hurts more. If you relax, it hurts less because the pressure on the nerve is less. So if you can get into your mind to learn yourself to relax, then you're home safe as you can get with a labor pain. And the truth is that with everything in your life, first time you do something huge, life-changing, it's huge. And then you learn, like first time you give birth to a baby, then you learn, okay, and your body learns, okay, it can really, it's not like, I'm not dying from this, and I love the outcome. So the synapse in here is positive, okay, I could do that, I'm growing from this. It's like I overcame my fear. And actually, the more time goes, the release becomes more and more natural. You more and more enjoy the fact that you got the idea to change something in your life, be a baby, a job, whatever. And I just really enjoy the fact that it's faster to give birth second time, because we have already had our birth canal expanded. So no matter what we do in our life, when we get a new idea and want to create something bigger than we usually do, it's like we have the birth canal, and usually things are coming in and out of that canal. You know what I mean, but they're not as huge as a baby. So when the time comes when you know intuitively, okay, I'm pregnant, the baby is going to come out. You know that that idea of the baby is larger than what you usually experience coming through you. So it's the same as being like a house mom at home, not maybe working so much, just taking care of the kids in the house. Not that it's not a huge thing, but then you suddenly want to be like a high profile director of a huge company, and you just decide to go into that transition phase of becoming that you feel you possibly could be, because you're like tired of what you had. You just want to explore something new. What do you expect other than that is a rebirth of you? That is huge. That is something you give birth to that is larger than what you're used to. It all comes down to accepting that it was your own idea. Whatever you do in life, it was your own idea. You have free will choice. And some of our choices are very aligned with the evolution of humanity, including having children. So we can tend to go into a suffering position when it comes to pain, projecting our anger towards evolution of man, that we have to be here in this position suffering so much just to create new life to this planet, and not really realizing that we are spirit also. We are creating, and we're not separate from creation. So accepting that, not thinking about it, but just accepting, like it's just as much my own personal will to give life as it is just that of instinct creating life. But the more we attune our own will with that of evolution, of soul, of mankind, of being a part of a larger community that is everybody on the planet, preserving life, giving something meaningful to the all, then we can really, really love with so many aspects of our mind. We can love the birth-giving process, and including the labor pains. Not taking them too seriously, but it takes some practice, some meditative focus. But I believe that humanity is coming into a state now where it's becoming more and more normal to know these things, because we know them intuitively, and there is not much choice any longer. We just need to relate clearly to what is going on. Then we know what it's about. So relaxed body, less pain.